Yo,
Be live.
huh?
OBS is acting. We should be live. OBS is acting a little strange. Uh, let me go. Let me just double check. I don't know if they had an update or something. Does it say we're live on your phone? Yeah, we're live. We're live.
No.
We're live.
Um,
Yeah, we're live.
Welcome in another edition of Under Big Dogs. We are live again here on YouTube. We got a new day that we starting on. I mean, this might not be final neither.
Nah, yeah,
Um,
no. They always be
I
changing.
mean,
We'll update everybody. But for the
I,
short time being, this is what we doing.
correct, correct. And so let's continue to have fun as we allow the sports world to populate on to the show to talk about these topics. Gator, are you watching the queue? I am not watching the queue this episode.
I got the cue.
All right, good. All right. Yeah, I mean, let's get started right away. Let's get started here.
Okay. Yeah, we got sports news. There's not much that happened this weekend, thankfully. Not a lot of injuries, so that's a good thing. Whenever there's not a lot of news, that could be a good thing sometimes. One in particular, though, kind of hurts, and it's kind of what we've been dealing with the Chargers for the last couple of years, I feel like. They can never have their receiver core healthy. Mike Williams is out for the year with a torn ACL. So I kind of feel for Justin. He's never really had his receiving core intact for like a full season, except for maybe like the beginning of his rookie year, where I think they both played I think that was the only time I think Keenan Allen and Mike Williams played extended games together. So anything you want to say about that, real quick?
No, no. Um, yeah, I would have loved to see Justin Herbert with full wide receiving core all season long, but I mean, they got guys. They got Quentin Johnston, who they got from TCU, and then they got Josh Palmer still there. So they got two tight ends that are effective, that are tall, which is Justin Herbert's. He loves tall receivers, so they still got weapons. They still got weapons.
G. Other also got another injury. He suffered a concussion. He's day to day. It looks like. I don't know his status for Sunday yet, but he wound up playing the rest of that game with a concussion. They didn't know, I guess, till after. I don't know how you don't know stuff like that, but um, Derek Carr is also week to week. Do you remember? I don't have the injury. You know though. What is the injury to Derek Carr?
Uh, no, it's a sprained something. I think a sprained AC joint. I think a
Okay.
shoulder injury. He
Yeah,
should be out for a little.
yeah, he's week to week right now. So I'm guessing definitely not this week. Um, that hurts the Saints. Did he finish the rest of the game? When did he get injured on Sunday? That's one of the only games I did not watch. Did you pay
I don't.
attention much to that Green Bay game? And I'm mad I didn't because they had a they had a 17-0 comeback in the fourth quarter. Jordan Love brought them back down 17-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I was watching. I was watching that game. I don't. I
Did he
don't know.
finish
I
the
don't know.
game?
No,
Derek
I
Carr?
think no. It happened like midway third quarter.
Midway third quarter. So and then they came back. So it looks that's not good for the Saints. Not saying their offense stalled because of the change, but I mean Derek Carr goes down and then Packers come back 17-0. So that maybe that's a little preview of what to expect in these next couple of weeks for the Saints. And I got them winning the division, so that hurt. That does hurt. And what you think about this, basketball analyst? The Toronto Raptors, I'm hearing, are the favorites right now. They have the best package to land Damian Lillard so far.
Um, I
Do you
mean,
like that?
no words really. The only thing people not mentioning about Damian Lillard's contract is the fact that they got some years left on it. So, um, whatever team trades for him, he kind of is
Isn't that a
there.
good thing? Isn't that not a good thing? But like for an organization that wants to go out and get him, isn't that? I know it's not good for Damian Lillard because he didn't really have a control over where he goes. But
Well, the only thing I'm thinking about or considering is Damian Lillard in this instance because that's who we are thinking about in terms of what we're thinking about in terms of competing for a championship. So we're not thinking about anything
yeah,
else other than how he feels about the trade, and I'm sure he wouldn't be necessarily happy about it.
do you think? So you don't think the Raptors are a contending team with Damian Lillard in the picture?
Oh, of course not.
Really?
Of course, yeah, of course not. I mean, you got to think about what they're going to give up to get him. First of all, they're not a
That's
contender.
true. That's true. But what if it's just draft picks?
They're not a contender team right now. They're not a contender team if they don't give up anything to get him. Like, and so to call them a contender team if they have to give up pieces on top of that,
Maybe
yeah, they ain't
not.
got. They,
Maybe not contending. But would you, if Damian Lillard went to the Toronto Raptors, could you? Is it safe to say they could win a playoff series and get into the mix in that second round, or no?
it probably could. That's. I thought we were talking about a championship.
Well, that lead, like you get some momentum into the playoffs. You win a playoff game. You get to round two. You never know
Listen,
what could happen. It's not like
it's
football. I understand that, but
not hockey or like hockey. This is usually the best team wins in basketball, and so
well,
I
we've
don't think
seen
it's.
we've seen teams in basketball make runs. The Dallas Mavericks. We saw the Heat do it twice.
We've
Not that
seen.
not the Heat didn't win a championship, but they got there twice. Would
I
you?
think Dallas was more of a better example because the Heat are actually, especially in the East, a really good team. But Dallas, I guess Dallas in the West, at that time with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook on the OKC Thunders, Paul Gasol and Kobe Bryant on the Lakers. Um, I think the Mavericks, especially you still had the Spurs in that conference. I think the Mavericks is a good example.
All right, last question about that. We'll move on to our main topic of the day. If would you, not saying how they built the team, but I'm saying if the Raptors did go ahead and somehow steal Damian Lillard, would they remind you of maybe like the Kings of the West, like good enough to make the playoffs, maybe win a playoff series, but not win the West or the East
Oh,
in this case, or
remind me
they
of
or
the
they not
team.
even that good, or they not even that good. Are they comparable to the
Nah,
Kings, or would they be comparable to the Kings? Or are they not even that good?
they would be formidable in the East. Like I don't know, they'll be formidable. Like they would be formidable in the East, but it wouldn't be nothing to. It wouldn't be nothing to like really like and, like make you think that they got an actual chance coming out of the East.
Oh.
Who's their head coach? Who's Toronto Raptors head coach now? I know the head coach went somewhere else.
They got
Who they got?
Darko Rajakovic. Darko Rajakovic.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I'm sure he may be somebody. But so yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, they won't be contenders with Dame.
We can move
I
on
don't
to
I
our
don't even
main
think they
topic.
should do it. They shouldn't even do a move like that. I don't like they shouldn't even do that. Like
Yeah,
that
apparently
that
sources are saying that they have the best. They've offered the Raptors the best trade. I mean, offered the Blazers the best trade as of right now.
that is interesting. What is our first topic? Let's give some people a chance to populate in on the first topic.
Um, First topic is what in the world happened to the Dallas Cowboys? Was it a fluke? Are the Cardinals a little better than we thought? Did that Trayvon Diggs injury really destroy that defense? We talked about that a little bit last week. Maybe we were completely wrong. I put that take on Monday. We said it wasn't going to be a big deal. It looked like a big deal on Sunday. I don't know if that's how it's going to look going forward, but the Arizona Cardinals were moving the ball against that team.
Um, we'll give an opportunity because I would love to hear what the people say on this. We'll give opportunity to sports fans to populate in on this topic and discuss this topic because yeah, that I, I'm really lost for words about what happened to the Dallas Cowboys. Honestly, that was tough. That was tough. That was tough. So make sure you're looking at the transfer portal to get them into the show. Um,
I'm looking. Nobody's in there.
uh, that was tough. That was tough. I would say though that I want to say I don't want to say the Diggs injury was
I see
was
you, Moz Dog. What's up? Yeah, you. Oh, you a Chargers fan? You a Broncos fan? Yeah, yikes. Go ahead, King. Sorry, I had to give Moz Dog some love.
no, yeah, of course. Always give the chat some love. Um, but no, yeah, I don't want to say that Diggs had an effect on the Cowboys defense in terms of like personnel for this particular game. I would say that the effect that he probably did have on this particular game is that they were deflated because of it. Like their morale, their spirit was down in this contest because of because of that. I could say that, and so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that because first week without Diggs, for his first game without Diggs, it just
It's
just
an adjustment.
happened. And so they were salty for sure, and you can tell by their morale. There's no way, even without Diggs, there's no way this Cardinals offense is better, is good enough to make Dallas Cowboys look the way that they did. Now, all eyes on Dak now, though.
I was
All
just gonna
eyes on
say
Dak.
that. I was just gonna say that as
All,
well. Yeah.
all eyes on Dak now, and that's a little scary. That's a little scary for Dak.
Yeah, the offense didn't score either, so it's not. They moved the ball well. They couldn't capitalize in the red zone. Like we're talking about, we could we could talk about the Dallas defense a lot in that game, but I mean you got outscored by the Arizona Cardinals. They couldn't score touchdowns on Sunday, so the offense actually looked like the Cardinals don't have this daunting defense. You know what I mean? Like they should have been able to put up numbers on that team against that team. They should have scored 30 to 40. I can't wait to see what the Niners do to that team on Sunday. So like I was just a little I was paying attention to the defense, but I was a little concerned about the offense. CD Lamb was nowhere to be found. Tony Pollard was the only one that found any type of success uh, yesterday or 2 days ago. Dak struggled. So, what happened to? Do you think they're gonna bounce back, or do you really think? Are we really looking at maybe we were a little bit too high on the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, go ahead and give your take on that. I don't think we were too high on the Dallas guy. It was nothing. It was nothing that they were showing that told us wrong about whether or not they were a good team or not. So, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, you had them as the Super Bowls, so that's why I was kind of uh, referencing that for a little bit. You have them going to the Super Bowl. But what I'm saying is they played the Giants week 1. Who did they beat last week? Who did they beat last week? Oh, the Jets. They beat the Jets and the Giants. Were we like, were, were we over maybe exaggerating a little bit? They haven't really played anybody yet. A lot of teams haven't. A lot of teams we still gotta wait until they play somebody. There's a lot of these
But the
teams.
but the Cardinals wouldn't fall under that example of somebody. So that's how you know it's something bigger than just because they didn't play anybody yet. Giants, the Cardinals surrendered a 21 point lead, I want to say late third, early fourth quarter lead to the New
Yeah,
York Giants. And we know the New York Giants ain't that great.
yeah,
So it has nothing to do with the fact that Dallas didn't necessarily play anybody yet. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. Like I had them, I had them in maybe at second best team in the NFL. They might not even be in the top five for me after that performance. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
I'm just. We're gonna have a top five list later. I'm just thinking of the teams that I have in that list,
Nah,
especially.
they're not. In, matter of fact, no, I'm tripping. I didn't even recognize what you just said. I'll definitely give you that. I'll definitely give you that.
They got to
100%.
be bumped to like 6 or 7 now. I can't. After that loss, same thing with my Niners. If they don't close the deal against Arizona this weekend, I am not seeing that. Like you have to beat Joshua Dobbs. Like they get Joshua Dobbs got Micah Parsons on a meme on social media today. Like it's that bad. You saw that TikTok Joshua Dobbs posted of him dodging rocks? Did you see that? Like he's really clowning Micah Parsons. Like it's bad over there in Dallas right now. like like when you got Joshua Dobbs memeing you, that nah. I can't have that for my Niners this weekend, so we better whoop their ass. But
And we'll see. We'll see what happens in this Dallas Niners game. I think we'll be a little surprised. Um,
no, I'm talking about the
about
Cardinals. We play the Cardinals this week, so I'm just saying I can't have Joshua Dobbs memeing me like that.
y'all gonna handle the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Y'all gonna
yeah. I thought Dallas was gonna handle the Card. Maybe are the Cardinals just a little better than we thought, or no? No
no,
way,
no.
no way. That run game is pretty lethal. That run game they got, that James Conner, he's looking good over there. But yeah, we can move on from this topic. I mean, I don't know. The
Yeah,
Dallas Cowboys just every week is something. Every year is something different with them. It's something different. They can just like Dallas fans can never catch a break. They look like the favorites this year, and then they drop a dud to the Cardinals. I know it was on the road. That's a long. That's not even a long trip. That's not even like Arizona and Dallas ain't that far away. Like it's not like the Giants going into Arizona. You know that we could be like, oh, I could see why the Giants may have lost that game, even though they came back and won. But there was no excuses. You cannot go into Arizona and lose that football game if you're a Super Bowl contender. So like we were really talking about the Cardinals getting Caleb Williams next year, like the worst team in football. That's what people were talking about. So this is a bad loss. It definitely changed my perspective of the Dallas Cowboys. I still know they're a great football team at heart. I know they're gonna bounce back from this. They'll make the playoffs. They'll look decent. But it definitely changed my like. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders anymore. That's my final word on it.
yeah, and I'll second that. I'll second that. I think I have to change my Super Bowl pick. With Diggs not in the backfield anymore. I really, really do.
I'm gonna stick with mine though. I'm gonna stick with my Bengals. I'm gonna stick with them. I know it's looking bad right now, but we about to have a movie. This about to be a movie. Joe Burrow 0-2, playing like ass. He is about to run the table here, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, Bengals ain't doing it neither. I ain't even gonna lie.
Is
But
Miami the best team in the NFL, King? Oh, you outside. Look at you.
no, yeah, enjoying the weather. Doing the show from anywhere. Yeah, go ahead and take this. We both host. So if nobody populates into the show, we take turns on giving our takes on these topics. Go ahead and give your take. Your take. I mean, this is a team that you was
Yeah,
really
I
high on.
got you.
I
I
really want to see, what
yeah,
you think.
I think you guys didn't even have them making the playoffs. If I go back and I think I was the only one that's put them in. Actually, I might not have even put them in. I gotta go back. I'm not. We might all have missed out on the Miami Dolphins, which is disrespectful. I was very high. Me and you were very high on Tua. Not so much some of the people that do come on this show. Me and you were very high on Tua. Um, his football IQ is crazy, and then you match that up with they won 70-20 this weekend without Jalen Waddle. Without Jalen Waddle, they weren't even at full strength, and they scored 70 points. Like the defense is looking better ever since the Charger game. The defense put out a really good performance against New England last week, and a very good performance this week. Is this just the Broncos are that bad though? Your AFC should Sean Payton be fired after that performance? Should he be fired?
Well, I'm going to talk about the question: is
Okay,
Miami the best team?
I'll talk about the question, but it's part of the question because I don't know if I feel safe saying they're the best team in the NFL yet. I think that I seven that can happen. You know, once the floodgates open, that could just happen. The Bills could have done that. I feel like the Niners could have done that. You caught the Broncos on the worst day humanly possible for them. The floodgate. I mean, they were taking every play was to the crib. Like it looked like the Broncos just at one point in the game just didn't want to play football. They benched Tua and they threw in David. They threw in Devon Etch. I can never pronounce his last name. A chain, and then they threw in the quarterback from the Jets, Mike Smith. Mike Smith, right? That's his name.
Um,
Who was the
yeah. Oh, Mike White,
Mike
who used to
White.
be on
Yeah, Mike White.
Jet.
They threw in Mike White and Robbie Anderson, and they were catching bombs when in garbage time. Like I think the Broncos just stopped playing. So I don't think the 50 point differential is as impressive as we're like. I think we're all like exaggerating that a little bit. Do I think they're the best team in football? No. Do I think a lot of people overlook them? Absolutely. Do I think they win the AFC East? To be determined. I cannot wait for that game this weekend. You see who the Dolphins are playing this weekend?
Is it the Bills?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We got an early the Bills can be 2-2 if they lose that game. It's a bigger game for the Bills than it is for the Dolphins. The Dolphins with a win can really take control of the AFC East because the Patriots aren't winning it, the Jets aren't winning it. You're gonna have a 2-game lead over the Bills. Like this is a huge football game, like massive. This is the first huge football game of the year. So I'm very looking forward to this week. I can't.
But
I'm gonna say no. It was impressive, but I think any great team could have did that to the Broncos the way they were tackling and playing defense in the second half.
um, uh, most dogs in the chat said, Moss dogs in the chat said, that because he's a Denver's fan. He said we were in the sun all day. Our two best tacklers injured, and Justin Simmons. So one of their two best tacklers was Justin Simmons. Oh, their two best tacklers was injured, and Justin Simmons, standout safety, was also injured as well. And they were in the sun all day. I mean, that sun is a real effect on teams. It's always talked about. They do it on purpose where the shade is only on the side of the home team and there's absolutely no shade on the side of the away team. And so it has been on record that the sun really truly does takes a toll on organizations, teams that come into Miami Stadium, Hard Rock Stadium to play. So I guess we can throw that in there as a factor. Vance Joseph, who just got hired this season, they were saying most dogs said that they were saying in the shade it was 95 degrees. So in the shade where Miami on Miami side it was 95. On the side of Denver, it definitely felt like they were saying when when they do the it's 100 degrees but feels like this.
Yeah,
They
that's
say it was
crazy. That's
that it
crazy.
felt like over 100 degrees. So I mean it's a real thing. But Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, I would say, might have been the wrong hire for Sean Payton to add on to this Denver staff. Um, and so I don't know what's going on in terms of because Sean Payton never been a defense guy. Dennis Allen, who's now the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, was his defensive coordinator for a very, very long time. And we know Dennis Allen is a really, really good defensive coordinator. So he's without like Vance Joseph. I don't think he's had some decent seasons as a defensive coordinator, but overall, his uh uh his defensive coordinating prowess um has never really been above and beyond, or even really necessarily like above average on a consistent basis. So I'm not surprised that this happened to his defense, but Sean Payton never being a defensive guy, I'm not surprised that this happened to a Sean Payton led team, especially in Sean Payton's first year as the head coach. And one thing I can say about Sean Payton is that he's definitely going to, continue to mix things up, find the right personnel on this coaching staff until they get it right. He's one of those guys comparable to Dion in the sense that, he wins anywhere he goes. And when I say comparable to Dion, I mean comparable to Deion Sanders. Just wins anywhere these kind of people win anywhere they go. And so you just got to give him some time, just like you got to give Deion Sanders some time. And we'll talk about that a little bit later to, you know, be the program, be a dominant program. And so yeah, we can't rush the process on this Denver Broncos program. And that's, that's funny that CU, Colorado University, is in the area of, the Broncos is a Colorado team as well. Two new programs, two new head coaching led programs. Got to give it some time. But even though that was still disgusting, it shouldn't look that bad. I know you got a new coaching staff and everything is new. You got all these new players coming in, but it shouldn't look that bad. I expect more. I expect that to happen more in college, like for what happened in Colorado, but not in the NFL. You got the
When you
best of the
got your
best.
backups running all over you like that, that's just crazy. They scored like another 21 points with Mike White and company just running. They were just trying to run the clock and just breaking 100-yard gains. Like it was wild. You
Yeah,
can't like as a coach like, come on, Sean Payton. Come on, Sean Payton. You got to motivate them. You got to figure that out. You can't get
yeah,
blown
that
out like that as a head coach.
yeah, that's a little tough. I mean, but he don't necessarily call the plays on
I'm not
defense.
saying it's his fault, but he's the head coach.
Oh, it's his fault because he hired Vance Joseph, so it's
Yeah,
definitely his fault. Um, but I'm not saying he calls the plays. But what I'm concerned more so about this Denver Broncos offense though with Russell Wilson and company. Man, I really want to see I really wanted to see this offense with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton working together. And it's not that it's looked putrid, it hasn't looked putrid, but
definitely better
it's
than last year, but definitely underperforming.
yeah, it's definitely still underperforming. Now Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, is a really good defensive coach. So, he got that on his side. I mean, they do have a really good defensive coordinator, and they do have Jalen Ramsey coming back. So, things could get interesting with this Dolphins team. I'm gonna go out and say that that I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no as well. I'm gonna say no as well. But they're right there. I mean, if they keep this up, if
Yeah, they're
if they
right
prove
there. They're right there.
if Mike McDaniel's proves that he could do this against anybody, and when I say this, I don't mean 70 points, but I mean just score against anybody. I might have to put them there with Jalen Ramsey coming back and Vic Fangio calling the defense
Yeah, if Jalen Ramsey's not even back yet, that's a scary thought. Are they the best team in the AFC?
No, I'm gonna
No,
stick with
still.
the Bills. I'm gonna stick with the Bills. I'm gonna stick with the Bills being the best team in the AFC, and I think the Chiefs might be better too.
Okay. I don't got anything more to add on to that. I just don't think they're the best team right now. So we can go to the
No,
next topic.
Peace.
Uh, will Burrow's Bengals continue to flip the script? Starting 0 2. Starting 0 2, I got their schedule here too. Put it on the screen for us so we can go through it. Uh I started.
Will
You could start on this one.
Will Burrow's Bengals continue to flip the script? Um,
They
what are
looked
y'all
bad.
thinking?
They looked bad yesterday,
What
even
do
though
y'all
they won.
What do y'all think in the chat? I mean, who we got next week? They got Tennessee Titans,
Win.
who just lost pretty badly, pretty handedly against the Browns. So they're gonna come looking to fight.
It's on
Then
the
they got the
road.
Car-
It's on the road.
then they got the Cardinals week 5.
Two road
Um,
games back to back. Could be a little tricky.
Seattle Seattle doesn't necessarily scare me. Who is this week 7 team? Is that a bye?
Yeah,
Um, then they got the 49ers, the Bills.
that's
Um,
that's rough.
they still got the Ravens on their schedule, Steelers on their schedule.
Chiefs.
They still got the Chiefs on their schedule, Steelers 2 more times on their schedule. They got the Browns on their schedule again. This is tough, man. I'm gonna go. I don't.
I
I'm gonna
think
go
they
ahead and
win their
say
next three. I think they win their next three. But then
I'm
after
go
that
ahead.
bye week is tough.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't think that they flipped the script here because to me, what's the underrated asset of Joe Burrow's game is his ability to move in the pocket, his ability to get outside of the pocket and extend plays. And I feel as though that's huge in his game, and that is an underrated asset in his game. You seen last night, it was a couple of plays he wanted to do that, and he being an athlete and a competitor,
Yeah, he was very stable last night.
you
He
you
didn't
would
want
you
to
would you would.
re-injure himself.
But I'm saying, being an athlete and a competitor playing through an injury, you you know as you're competing, you forget about your injury. You try to do something because you're a competitor, and then midway while trying to do it, you forget that you're injured. And you seen that he was doing that a few times in yesterday's game where he tried to extend the play, and then had to throw the ball away, or because you could just tell that he tried to extend the play and then remember, like, oh, hold on, what am I doing? And it's a calf strain that he's not going to allow to heal. So as long as he is playing through this calf injury and not able to extend plays, I'm going to go out and say that I don't trust this offensive line enough to keep him upright all season, and for him to have to just solely be a pocket quarterback and win games, it will truly be impressive if he's able to go ahead and do that. And so I don't think they flipped the script. I think they struggled all year and missed the playoffs.
Question:
How about you?
If they win the next three, just devil's advocate. Let's say because it's possible that the schedule is weak. Even Joe Burrow on a strained calf could win those three games. They go into, let's say they win the next three and they go into a bye week. They give Joe Burrow an extra 2 weeks to heal. That's 5 weeks without any any worsen
Reaggravated.
any
Yeah,
re-aggravation.
you're going to re-aggravate it regardless, but he's re-aggravating it every game. It's nothing like when you play at a high level like that, you're kind of re-aggravating it every game. Yeah, very minimally. Maybe it's not like um to a point where it actually have you miss some games, but you're re-aggravating it every time you step out on that field. But I
Yeah,
want to know what you. I mean, give your take on it, your perspective on it.
That's the take that I do have. I think they win the next three. This is my Super Bowl team. I don't see them losing to the Titans or the Cardinals. The Week 6 game is gonna be fun, but it's at home. That's gonna be a very big game for going into the bye week. For that is gonna define their season to me. If they can win the next two and somehow win that Seahawk game in Cincinnati, going into the bye week at 4-2, I think that would be enough for me to say, okay, this team is back. Going into the bye week, giving Joe Burrow an extra 2 weeks to not do any football activity. Just back Niners Bills back to back. Holy, that sucks. But I think if you could split one of those two games, you go in 5-3 going into the second half of the season. I think they could really turn this around. I really do. I think they could really turn the season around, and I think they win it. I think they could win a playoff game or two as well. Uh, the thing for the Bengals is that they have
There
these
we
slow
go.
starts, man. They have these slow starts, and then they wind up pulling it out somehow. I know they need to get to the bye week at 3-2. If I mean at 4-2, if they could do that, then I believe if they lose one of these two games though to the Titans or the Cardinals, I might have to call it quits.
Yeah, you definitely gonna have to call it quits if they do that. You got to change. You might have to change. You definitely
There's
might
no
have to change this.
changing. There's no changing. I'm gonna hold the L. It's fine. I still
You
got
might
I still got
definitely
the
might have
Niners. I still got
to
the
call it.
Niners on the NFC side. So
Um, but I mean, anyway, I mean, let's welcome in our guest, Beeman, to the show. Beeman, thank you for joining the show, and thank you for hopping in the topic. Feel free to obviously hop on any other topic that you want to. Beeman is our Jacksonville Jaguars guy. He's our football
Okay.
and one of our football analysts out there. So we really appreciate football analysts who take the time to join the show and talk sports with us. Welcome into the show. Next topic we'll go ahead and go into that Houston, Jacksonville. Those two topics.
that's the next topic anyway. I think.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, we'll go into that so that we can get his analytical side on that. But let answer this question before we move on. Beeman, will Burrow's Bengals continue to flip the script?
Um, I think so. Yes, I do. And the big reason why I say that they will is because they've done it under the Burrow, basically under the Burrow regime. Outside of his rookie season, he got hurt. And if you actually look back at the seasons when they started early, the Bengals wasn't really that hot. And they picked it up and they got going. I don't know why they operate that way. The past 2 years, they haven't started off good. And look what they
They
did.
always
They
slow.
finished the job.
Yeah, they always have slow starts every year.
Yeah, they have slow starts every year. And I always say this, most people who know me as far as like talking football, most of the job is a quarterback. You got to find you a killer at quarterback. And at the end of the day, the Bengals have Joe Burrow. He's, I believe, the highest paid player right now in the league. It's really on him to, carry them. I think they can. They got the weapons. T. Higgins, I feel like he dropped a lot of passes, made Joe Burrow not look too good, but Joe Burrow know what he has to do. I like the Bengals to you know, basically do what they've been doing the past 2 years.
I really
Even though
believe
that
they could still
division
win
is
that
tough, that
division.
whole
Yeah,
division can make the playoffs. So
yeah.
even though that division is tough, everyone in that division they can make the playoffs if they all play well. So
You mean like technically can or like figuratively they can?
technically can, with the extra game added into the
And the extra
regular season,
team. And the
and then
extra
they
team
have an
too.
extra team,
Yeah.
Will
an
this
extra
be
game
the
and
first
an
time?
extra team.
Will it be the first time that it's ever happened? If that did happen,
I don't think so. I
It's a
think
yeah,
that
no,
same
no, it
division.
will. Probably will. They've
I
only
don't
had
think. I
seven
think that
teams.
happened once.
They've only had 17s in the playoffs for I think two years.
Yeah, it's not. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen because this is new.
Yeah, it's really new.
true.
Yeah, but
Okay,
the defense is still there too. The Bengals defense
nah,
is another reason.
that defense look good. That defense look good.
Even though the Rams put on a good effort though.
No, I mean, thank you for that take. I mean, um, uh, uh, you really feel like the Bengals are going to do it like they did? I don't. I just don't think so. I just don't think so. I think this too tough a road. What do you think about my take as far as one of Joe Burrow's biggest parts of his game is extending plays, getting out in the pocket. Sometimes he even takes off and takes what the defense gives him and runs for about 8 to 12 yards. Like it's like his legs are bigger than what people give him credit for when he is fully healthy. What do you think about him just not having mobility?
Um, Joe Burrow didn't become a star from improvising. He's a point guard that plays quarterback.
Okay.
He doesn't rely on improvising. If he,
Okay.
relied on improvising to get to where he was at, we'll put that stigma of he can't be, like how Josh Allen or any running quarterbacks, that we put on him. He don't do that. Like he's very good pre-snap. He sees how much safeties you got. He sees if you're trying to zero blitz him. Like that's his style. Joe Burrow plays chess pre-snap. And he's really like that. He's not an improviser like Russell Wilson, Fields, or them guys that they have to use their legs to really get going so they can figure the game out. Now Burrow will improvise. Burrow O-line, honestly, I feel like make it even harder for him. And that's what make Burrow like that. If you really study Burrow, he take a beating. I think he's if he's not the last, he's like second to last as far as sacks since he's entered the league. And he still make it to AFC championship games. He still made it to the Super Bowl. So what I'm saying is somebody who's been sacked the most and really do that, he's really like that because he takes a beating. Taking sacks, I'm telling you, people don't understand like the physical game of football. If they keep Joe Burrow upright, yeah, they're gonna be okay. That's the thing. Like, so the teams try to shatter and shake Joe Burrow. That don't work. He proved that you could sack him. If you look at that playoff game they had against the Titans, they sacked that man like 8 or 9 times, and he's in Nashville, and he still came back and won that game.
Do you think the
That boy,
calf
he
strain's an
he's built
issue?
different.
Do you think the
Yeah,
calf
he's
strain's
built
an
different.
issue?
Yeah, he is a true competitor. I don't think anybody misinterprets that. And just want to thank everybody that's currently tuned in right now to the show. Go ahead and comment in the chat on here on YouTube, and as far as what y'all think about these topics as we talk about them. Next topic that we have, I mean, we're gonna touch it. It kind of sounds funny to touch on two different sort of topics or takes in a Jacksonville Jaguars Houston Texans game. But there are two very interesting topics and takes to be talked about in this game, and we're definitely very happy that a football analyst populated into the show today. We really appreciate that, and not only is he a football analyst, he is a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. So we really appreciate him seeing a topic that he wanted to get in on and get in here on this show to talk about it. So we'll give you the stage on this. Just
Yeah.
please diagnose the Jaguars' problems for us.
Um, it's sad because honestly, most of us didn't think that this would even be a problem. We thought we was about to, take care of the Texans, and we didn't take care of the Texans. Like they embarrassed us. They embarrassed us in a bad way.
Get
but
that graphic down, Gator.
but even though that loss did happen, I'm not really worried about the Jaguars. But it did let me know that we're not ready as far as being like an apex team, as far as being the top team. We're not there right now as we speak. I do think the season is long. We literally proved last year that we started off a bad season and we ended it well. So that's literally, the things that they are harping on right now is, we've done this before, but we can't keep doing it. So that's why we're not really too worried because they already proved that they started off the season horrible and ended in a great way. But to lose a division game to a rookie quarterback, to a Texans team that had injuries and we were more healthier than them, we were at home. It was basically a trap game. That was supposed to be, our game where we beat the Colts. Now we beat the Texans, so we have 2 wins in the division. We didn't close that out. So that basically punched us, in the gut. That loss right there. But a lot of people, they look at the Jaguars and the stock goes down, which it should. But as far as just being a threat in the playoffs, I do think the pieces are still there. It just has to come together. A lot of people don't know too, like me being a Jaguar fan more on the inside. They have the offensive coordinator, Press Taylor. He's doing the play calling, and Doug Peterson, he's usually known for doing the play calling since he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. We've had some success the season before, and this is more of my opinion and what I think. Press Taylor is trying to gear to have a head coaching job, just like his brother, the Cincinnati Bengals head coach, is our offensive coordinator here in Jacksonville, and he's a good coach. So I believe he's trying to prepare him and train him to, become a head coach. So right now we have Press Taylor doing our play calls when, Doug Peterson usually do our play calls. That's something that we have to. It's not really an excuse, but it's something that we just have to get better at, since that's a change. Not worried about Trevor Lawrence. He didn't play good, honestly. He really didn't play good. But I just feel like we didn't lose because of him. A lot of people, they want Trevor Lawrence to be the reason to come back from somebody else's mistakes. And he's not that type of player yet to correct somebody else's mistakes. But him himself didn't have a good game, but we had a lot of drops. And the drops is what definitely caused Houston to get momentum. And once that momentum started, we couldn't stop it. So, all credit to Houston.
Yeah, their offense is surprising this year. I think we got a young talent in C.J. Stroud that people are overlooking. We talked about that, King, a little bit in the preseason. We said, or when the season started, we said, we were talking about C.J. Stroud a little bit and Bryce Young, but
Yeah,
in terms of the Jaguars, I still they this might have been a letdown game from the Chiefs game. This might have just been it might have rolled over into this game. You lose a close game like that to the defending Super Bowl champs, and it is a letdown. It is a letdown. They played them tough for 4 quarters. It was a very low scoring game. They had them on the ropes. They really could have won that football game. And then you think, oh, we just gonna this is a perfect bounce back game. Houston at home off a tough loss. You would have thought they would have blew them out. Like he said, it was a trap game. It was a trap game. I don't think they took Houston seriously. I think it's just like the Cowboys. I think they treated that game just like the Cowboys treated the Arizona game. I don't think they took those teams seriously, man. This is the NFL. You could lose on any given Sunday.
Yeah, that's what happens to young teams, especially.
Yeah, and the Jaguars we were looking, he's right too, with the Jaguars. They do start off slow, kind of like the Bengals. Not as frequently, because the Bengals are a more successful franchise over the last couple years. But in terms of last year, the Jaguars started off slow and then won, I think, like 4 of their last 5 games to get in or something like that, or 6 of 7. So,
Correct.
And the division is very winnable. There's nobody in that division that screams, oh my God, they're so good. The Colts are surprising me, but they're beatable. So I'm not too worried about the Jags.
Yeah, it's a marathon.
I'm not too worried about the Jags.
That's why I'm not worried.
Yeah, if it was any other division, I might be a little concerned, just a little bit. I expected them to be 2-1. I definitely expected them to be 2-1 at this point, but
yeah, because
now they gonna have to win a game they shouldn't win. They lost a game they should have won. Now they gotta go win it. Now they're gonna have to go win a game they should lose. So I don't have their schedule up right now per se, but they're gonna have to get that one back. They need that one back.
We play Atlanta in London.
Oh, in London this weekend. Yeah, that's right. That's gonna be a good football game.
Our second home. We play there every year.
It's gonna be a good.
And then we play the Bills also there as well. So our team
Didn't
the
Falcons play the Jaguars in London last year? Were they making that a tradition? I'm pretty sure the Falcons.
I don't think they played us last year in London.
The Falcons played a London game. I don't know who they played.
I'm not sure if they played us. I'm not sure. No, I don't think they played us. But I know a lot of teams play in London now. We have to play the Bills in England as well. So we play there twice. this
You're
year we played
playing
back to
two
back games,
London games
which
this
we
year?
should take advantage of. We used to going across the
That's a
pond,
little silly.
and if we stay there for 10 days for another team, now we thinking like y'all have to win these next two games, and one of those games is against the Bills and Josh Allen. But for some reason, my Jaguars like to beat good teams and lose to mediocre teams.
A little silly.
I mean that's interesting, but like what it showed me for the Jags, I don't want to say is that they're not necessarily ready yet as a football team. Like I haven't lost my faith in Trevor Lawrence. Like I was up on Trevor Lawrence for, I want to say, his first year and a half of his career. I was out on Trevor Lawrence, and then he started to win my heart with his competitiveness and with his great reads and great ball placement. Like he just started to win my heart, and he officially has. And I truly believe the Jaguars do have their guy. But so this to me seems like more of a just the Jacksonville Jaguars as a football team. I don't think they're quite ready yet. What
Yeah,
it
that's a
does
fair
it
assessment.
about right, Beeman?
Yeah, that's fair. The quarterback, even though we still need him to improve, I wouldn't say he's the problem. You really covered that. We got our guy, point blank. We got him. We got to just keep developing him. But yeah,
Yeah.
our team is definitely not where we need them to be at. And honestly, that's the part where like I'm not sure we're going to be that team, because right now we have the same team we had last year, so we're banking on experience, and our experience right now is not working, And we have Calvin Ridley, which
Yeah, you
he
got
had a
weapons. You got weapons now. There's like you guys got weapons. That offense should be a lot better than they've been playing. That's for
no,
sure.
of course, no,
Yeah.
we have weapons, but I'm saying like we have weapons to what extent? Calvin Ridley right now I believe throughout the season he will be that, but right now his name is bigger than what he is. I do think those 2 years, he just needs to, you know, basically shake the rust off. I don't have no problems with Calvin Ridley, and even though we had the weapons
Which
we
is
had without
crazy
Calvin
because he
Ridley
had a
last year,
really good week one, like a very good week one, like extremely good. They should be looking to get him the ball more in space too. They gotta use him like the
he actually got shut down the second half in week one. He only had, I believe, one catch for 2 targets, and after the first half against the Colts, who lost their best corner, I believe he got in some type of trouble, and then Gilmore went to the Cowboys. So the Colts secondary is,
yeah.
they're not the best. They got a good D line, and then obviously the Chiefs, that was Spagnolia, that defense, and that's tougher. And this week, to be honest, a lot of people, don't really know. I mean, Houston is in our division, so I have to watch them. And Derek Stingley and
Division
Jalen
games are
Petrie,
always tough. Even the worst teams in your division are always tough.
yeah,
Always tough.
always tough. But not only is they tough, I'm really talking about their secondary. So their secondary is actually one of their strengths on that team. And I just think, it's football. It's just those things is, really just excuses. We got the pieces to get over it, but we know the reasons. We just got to apply it, go back to the drawing board. We have the pieces, but right now we just know the games that we're honestly supposed to win, we're not winning. So we're not going to give ourselves credit for that. We're supposed to beat the Texans. We didn't beat the Texans. I'm not going to call y'all a top team when y'all not doing that, as if, we're not doing what the Miami Dolphins is doing right now, basically is what I'm saying.
Right. And as we move on, and like on the other side of things, after we talked about the Jaguars, go ahead, Beeman, on this one. Have you seen enough for CJ Stroud? Have you seen enough from CJ? Is he the Texans quarterback of the future?
Yeah, he's their guy. Yeah, he's their guy.
Why? What are you seeing
Um,
from this? What are you seeing? Because it's just short career. It's only what, 3 games now. What are you seeing from him?
yeah, and it's crazy because is more what I see from him off the field, but what I see from him on the field, I think is the most important. And what I like from CJ Shroud is like when he plays the game very decisive, and he doesn't give the ball up. I like that. Like somebody who, okay, either he's moving the ball or he can't make a pass and we're punting. So I feel like he goes to his reads and he's very safe with his reads. I don't think he really tries to force the issue. And I think that's really on the field. But off the field, he really understands the whole dynamics of playing quarterback. He understands everything that comes with it. So I think that's why I think that they found their guy. Like he knows what he has to do as a quarterback. He understands the situation. He knows off the field what he has to do. He understands the leadership role. These are things that he's really talking and explaining. So it's like basically he understands it. He understands, his situation as a quarterback, and that's to me is important. But on the field, he doesn't make mistakes. And if you don't make mistakes and you work on that and you grow as a rookie quarterback, um, that's why I think he will sustain. And then our division, obviously, I mean, come on, Derrick Henry is the face of the Titans, and he can't run forever. Anthony Richardson is a nice talent, but me and my boy was talking about it is he can't take those hits. You can't take those. So somebody in the AFC South has to be at the bottom. Somebody has to be that loser. And, if Anthony Richardson keep taking those hits, it could be the Colts. If Derrick Henry finally loses, his ability, it could be the Titans because the Titans don't really have too much. If we keep, thinking we all that and losing, it could be us. It's our division is not the AFC North. So CJ Shroud can, this is a good division to try to live.
Very interesting division. It's probably the least favorite of everybody's division in the league this year, but it's still very interesting if you know football.
Correct.
One of the most interesting ones. For a casual viewer, they'd probably be like, "Oh, that division stinks. I don't want to talk about them." But if you know football, that's a very interesting division.
Yeah, very interesting division.
Again, Beeman, thank you so much for taking the time out your day to talk sports with us, especially a topic that, is one, not only of your expertise, football is of your expertise, but definitely your Jacksonville Jaguars. So we definitely really appreciate that. And we appreciate that insight on CJ Stroud, possibly
I appreciate
taking over your division moving forward. I think it's an early hot. That's an early hot take to have.
I don't think it's a hot take, King. I don't think it's a hot take. We talked about it. What did I tell you? We talked about, we compared Bryce.
You said you love CJ.
No. No. Well, yes, I did say that, but we compared Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. Well, who did I tell you was the more NFL ready quarterback? I said CJ Stroud. I said CJ Stroud is who you want Bryce Young to be, and he's not. It's gonna take Bryce Young a few years to be that guy. CJ Stroud.
I don't know.
CJ Stroud doesn't use his legs as much as you think. He's not a run-first quarterback like Bryce Young is on the Panthers.
I never said CJ Stroud was.
No, it's not that we said it was a run-first, but when we compared Bryce Young to CJ Stroud, you said Bryce Young is the NFL ready quarterback, and I said I don't think so because CJ Stroud is the guy that likes to stay in the pocket and look downfield. He's got speed. He doesn't like to run though. He only has 10 carries this year in 3 games. He's only run 10 for 35, and you don't expect that. You look at CJ Stroud, you're like, he's gonna probably be moving today. But
I have Bryce Young as well as
the dude can sling it. The dude can sling the ball. He's got a very good football IQ. He didn't turn the ball over in Ohio State, and he brought that into he was like one of the least turnover quarterbacks in college football when he played on Ohio State. I know it's not saying.
Well, he has that Ohio State stigma on him as well, so that's why a lot of people's not high on CJ Stroud.
I think he's the best quarterback to come out of Ohio State in a long time.
That part I agree with.
Besides Joe Burrow, because technically,
I can't lie though. I can't lie because I do like CJ Stroud, but I did have Bryce Young coming out. Like I love both. I'm a quarterback person. I just love the quarterbacks, but I have Bryce Young ahead of CJ Stroud as far as
I think we all
NFL ready.
I think we all
We
agree
we
that.
really have to just wait till the season go through
Yeah,
to
it's
really
got to
figure
play
that out.
out.
Because
It's got to
right
play
now
out.
it's still early. CJ Stroud looks good, but I do think Bryce Young can process better than CJ
No,
Stroud. I truly
When
do.
I told King, I said
I,
I think Bryce
and
Young is
that's
the
what
better talent. I
I
think Bryce
do
Young
as
is the
well.
better talent, and he will be
Oh
a
no,
bit.
you got to understand what he just said. He said he do think though that Bryce Young could process right now better than CJ Stroud, and I think so as well.
What?
And
Yeah,
so
but we haven't seen. We haven't seen. Bryce Young has struggled.
I
Bryce
mean,
Young
we
has
got. I
struggled.
mean,
CJ
he played.
struggled as
He played
well.
2 games. He played 2 games. He's played 2 NFL games, and
Yeah,
so I think the book is out. The jury is reached a verdict yet on who's more
Yeah,
NFL
the
ready.
season has to go by. Some teams is playing better defenses right now. We need more of a sample
yeah. It's a
size.
small sample
But
size, but
it's really
C.J.
just an
Stroud.
opinion because CJ Stroud can blow the door off and be that guy. I'm just really
Yeah,
going off
yeah,
my eyes. And I played a little quarterback back in the day, you know what I'm saying? So I just try to use my little nuggets that I know. And like the way Bryce Young process, I think a lot of people really just stare at the size of him right now, really not seeing what he's actually doing. It's amazing. It's amazing. He do got to just stay healthy. I think his stature may be a little a problem, honestly. But
yeah.
as far as the quarterback position, as far as rocking out at the quarterback position, and honestly, I mean, what who do the Panthers really have? I mean, Thielen, Laviska, Trimble,
You could say the
like
same thing
they,
about
you know,
them. You could
they
say the
not
same
like
thing. They
Tank
got
Dell from
Thielen. They
Oh,
Houston.
got Thielen. They got
Tank
Thielen.
Is
Dell,
like
Tank Dell from
Tank
Houston looks
like
like
that.
I'm telling you,
Tank Dell
to
is like
Tank Dell from Houston, and then you got Nico Collins. So I
and
believe
Nico is
that,
no
and then you
slouch.
have a running back. You have a running back, Damian Pierce, who's really a workhorse. I do believe the Texans weapons.
The Panthers got
Help
some
CJ
weapons.
Stroud,
The Panthers got some
but
weapons.
Is no slouch.
He comes
He
from
can't.
San Francisco. He comes with that coaching is something. Frank Wright, who's the coach right now for the Panthers, been bounced around from the Eagles to the coast to the Panthers, and then D'Amico Ryan, where he come from. I'm just saying the coaching tree looks more successful in Houston than in the Panthers right now. So CJ Stroud is under that umbrella, and to me personally, I think the Texans have better weapons. But with all of that being said, CJ Stroud is the quarterback. He has to, get the job done. But I'm just putting it in perspective. Like, these young QBs, you got to really sit back and see, the cards that they're dealt because they can't do everything. They can't play offense and defense. They can't coach. But as a quarterback, when you assess Bryce Young, he's really like he is really like that. It's amazing for him to be that small and really be like that. He's really him. Honestly, I just believe that. And if he stay healthy, I think he's going to show it.
Beautiful. I think. I mean,
Small
I'm
sample
right there.
size. Small sample size. C.J. Stroud, 3 games, 64% completion percentage, 906 yards, 4 touchdowns, no
Man,
interceptions, 98% passer rating.
I
That's a
will
really
say this:
really good
CJ Stroud
start.
will have
Really
a
good start.
successful. CJ Stroud will have a successful NFL career. I do believe. I wholeheartedly believe that.
Okay, and I'm
The
right there with
division
you.
he's in, like that's a big part. He got the skills. I like him. He got all the goods a quarterback need. I know what a quarterback need. He got it in the division that he's in. He's been dealt a good hand.
Like
CJ
I
Stroud
said,
been dealt a
small
good.
small sample size. I will agree. Small
This
sample size, but that's a
small
really good
sample size.
sample size so
I'm,
far.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Um, are the Chiefs as we move on, and thank you again, Beeman. You could definitely, of course, continue to rock out with us on these topics. Thank you for coming in. Please stay. Please stay. If you would like to do that, if you want
Yeah.
that. Are the what do we got next? We have the Jets sideline frustrated after loss to Patriots. Jets sideline frustrated after loss to
It's a
Patriots.
football
I mean,
one. I can stay for this topic too.
I mean,
I think the whole show today is football. So, but
I
if
mean,
you whenever
I mean,
you want to tab out, don't feel obliged to stay. If you're having fun, stay on. If you got something to do, we appreciate the time. But yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely, absolutely. I want to give, and we always let our guests go first because at the end of the day, Gator and I are just hosts, and this show is for sports. The sports world to come in and deliberate sports. So we'll let our guests go first on this. Jet sideline frustrated after loss to Patriots. What is um let me see, how can I ask this question? Um
what should the Jets do? What should the Jets do?
You can ask it straight up like that.
Seriously,
Yeah, you
what should
can.
they do? Like Jets fan, there was a video of I don't know if you guys know who Fireman Ed is. He's the biggest. He is the biggest like Jet fan in the world, and he made a video today talking about like not like let this kid go. Like we've experimented enough. Let Zach Wilson go. Bring in a vet. I did not think they were gonna bring in
Yeah.
Trevor Siemian, but bring in a vet. They decided that the answer to that was bringing in Trevor Siemian today. Like what is the Jets
Well,
organization doing?
I'm,
And as a fan base, should you be upset if you're a Jets fan? Like
as a fan,
it's like it
as a
feels like
fan
a waste of
base,
season. Just keep throwing Zach Wilson out there.
no. So as a fan base to the New York Jets, no, you should not be upset. What should the Jets do? You can't do too much. Once again, the most important position in football is quarterback. Your quarterback went down. You can't get a quarterback. Okay, if Trevor Siemian wasn't the guy that they got, who are they going to get? I mean, be real. Who are they really going to get
There's
if
a lot
Aaron
of
Rodgers was the
bad
quarterback?
teams. There's a lot of bad teams right now that
Aaron
would.
Rodgers was the quarterback for us to win a Super Bowl. Our quarterback, as far as we have a great defense, we have Aaron Rodgers, we have Garrett Wilson. We are going to win a Super Bowl. He pops his Achilles. That's why the Jets fans shouldn't be upset. It just happens. It's part of football. You got to rock out with your team. If your best player on anyone's team goes down, it's hard to fix that. You just got to be loyal to your team. But Aaron Rodgers go down. Who can you literally plug in and be like, okay, let's have a shot at the Super Bowl? No matter who you get, you could be upset, but there's nobody you have access to win you a Super Bowl, because that was the goals, that was the bulletin board that you wrote down before the season started, before A-Rod got hurt. He went down. You can't fix that. As a Jets fans, y'all have to understand that. You can't be delusional to that not being a fact. You
The
have to
only
really just
thing
stand 10 toes down.
the only thing I'll say to that is I don't think that's the case all the time, because you look at what happened in Philly a few years ago. You know, Carson Wentz goes down. They have a great team. Nick Foles steps in and they do win a Super Bowl. So I don't think I think
No.
Jets fans are just upset that they're not doing more. They've
Okay, well,
experimented
back to
enough
your
with
Carson
because
Wentz
the
experience. Nick Foles had to win the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. Nick Foles didn't have to play the whole regular season where these defensive coordinators know who they playing in Nick Foles, and then Nick Foles playoff table. Carson Wentz had to, put some work in. Hell, he was an MVP candidate, so he just did a lot of the work for him. Aaron Rodgers got put out a couple of snaps within the first regular season game. You can't do nothing. Just name a
no, it's
situation where
tough. It's tough.
you
But I
Super
like
Bowl
put
aspiration.
yeah, no,
But
it's def
there's no solution, is what I'm saying. According to the question you asked me, the Jets fans could not be upset because Aaron Rodgers popped his Achilles. The deal that they gave him really put them in a situation to where they can't really do anything. They pay that man some money. You kind of have to, you have to deal with the hand that you was dealt. You have Aaron Rodgers. You have to rely on him coming back next year. You can't tank. You can't win that much games with Zach Wilson. You have to really look in the mirror and see the situation. That's what you're dealing with, because anything else we talk about is not going to happen. You're going to win a couple games with Zach Wilson. You may be in the middle of the pack or kind of below the middle, slightly below average. You're going to have a 12th, 13th, 14th pick in the NFL draft, and you're going to have to rock out like that and wait for Aaron Rodgers. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen, because they're not good enough to win a Super Bowl, and they're not bad enough to just tank.
yeah, New England
If
didn't score a point in the second half.
let
They
me
just
ask the
needed
que-
6 points to win that football game. I
let
can't
me ask a
imagine being a
question.
Jets fan right now.
Let me ask a question in there. Beeman and Gator. Well, Gator kind of already answered this. In a previous show. If the Vikings continue on losing, say they go, 1-9 or 2-10, like before the trade deadline, do you see? Am I there?
You're there.
Yeah,
He's I don't know if he
Okay.
heard you.
Okay.
yeah, I'm.
Yeah. Do you? Yeah. If the Vikings struggle, and I mean struggle, continue. Yeah, I mean continue to lose. Let's see if he can get.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too, King. But it doesn't even have to be Kirk Cousins. There's gonna be some losing teams. There's gonna be
Hold on
some
one
losing teams looking to trade away some players.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
get.
my signal was bad, but I'm sorry. Can I hear the question one more time? My bad.
Yeah. I want to know, like, if Vikings continue to lose, right before the
Yeah.
trade deadline, does it make sense to try to make a trade for someone like a Kirk Cousins for the Jets?
The last year of his contract, so he'd be willing to. Probably be willing to move him because they're going to
I,
lose him for nothing.
this is the problem. The question can be yes or no. I mean, and if the body's not performing, and if Kirk Cousins is not getting wins, then I mean, so issue with them. Kirk Cousins, the reason likely he is he's quarterback of get 1-9, 2-10, then nah.
So we got live TV, and live TV is beautiful. So until he get his stable, his connection stable, Gator.
Oh, y'all can't hear me?
Oh, I mean, now we
It
could.
just cuts in and out. Now we can, yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, so
No,
Also,
no,
you're
I was
good.
saying
You're good.
basically,
You're good. Technology sucks.
uh, but I'm heard, right?
yeah, I mean, he's in and out, and so we got and
You were
that's,
gonna ask me something?
beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna ask you, should they make a trade? Should they go ahead and make that move for Kirk Cousins? If, well,
I
assuming
don't even
that
think it
they're
has to
still
be for Kirk
assuming
Cousins.
that
I
they're
don't even think
still
it
in the
has to be.
assuming that they're still in the playoff hunt come, like, around trade deadline, with come on, like, Aaron Rodgers is, he says, he's shot at all his doubters. He said, put a timetable on me. Watch I beat that. Say I can't come back. Watch I do it. That sounds all great, right? But he's 39 with an Achilles injury. And so I'm with the uncertainty of that, and you combine that with the Jets having everything on their roster but a quarterback. If they're still formidable, should they go ahead and look to be trading for a quarterback?
If the
If they're
Vikings
still
lose another football game, if the Vikings start 0-4, if I was the Jets, I'd be calling up the Vikings every day trying to make that trade. I'd be calling them every day. The Vikings, if the Vikings start 0-4, 0-5, they knowing they could potentially lose Kirk Cousins in the offseason for nothing, why not? This is going to be one of the best draft classes for quarterbacks in a long time, they're saying. So, I mean, if you get an elite quarterback for the future, maybe get some draft picks to get better defensively. You already have the weapons. They just drafted wide receivers, so they don't really need to go offense heavy right now. They got Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, Osborne is a decent wide receiver 3 because that's the role he's gonna play in once Jordan Addison finally takes over that wide receiver 2 role. They just picked up Cam Akers. They got a decent backfield. They got one of the best tight ends in football. So offensively, they are good. Let's get Kirk Cousins out of there. Get some draft picks. Draft a quarterback in the first round next year, and draft defensive players around that. I don't see Kirk Cousins winning the Super Bowl with the Vikings. So send him over to the Jets. Let's see what they can do. Let's see what the Jets can do. I think the Jets should be calling them every day. Every day. I think they should be looking. I don't think the Jets should be wasting a season.
It's not wasting the season. It's not wasting the season. You gotta just face the reality that the cards that y'all was dealt with is shitty.
Okay.
I disagree. I don't think you just sit down here. I think you got a really good defense. You're a quarterback away from doing some damage in the playoffs. Like Zach Wilson ain't it. They scored no points in the second half.
So Kirk Cousins going to the Jets sures that up.
No, but it doesn't matter because it's a 1-year deal. You could let him walk for free next year, and then you got Aaron Rodgers back.
It ain't about letting him walk then. So if that's what you were, I know it was about you saving the season, and getting Kirk Cousins is not guaranteed to save the season. You can't switch a quarterback just because he's from one team to the receivers have to be on timing with them. The routes have to be on timing with them. Everything has to be
Of
with
course.
them. And then on top of that, if you're trying to take a quarterback out of a system to go to, well, that's one of your issues of why I don't see it working. And then if you take Kirk Cousins off the Vikings and put him to the Jets, I could see it maybe working if your coordinator or your QB coach worked with him in the past. He has to learn the whole verbiage of the whole offense. And when is he going to play after 1 or 2 weeks of Zach Wilson losing more games? Like, at least if the offensive coordinator and Kirk Cousins were once together and playing, and then they made something like that happen, then yeah. But you just cannot trade a quarterback who's this team. That doesn't happen. And what I'm trying to say, honestly, I sound rude or nothing, but you just got to see the reality of, like, it just don't work that way. It don't. It has to make sense. And having Kirk Cousins go from the Vikings to the Jets, it just doesn't make sense. And if it do happen, I'll look silly, but I'm willing to bet that don't happen.
Well, I think me and King are under the assumption we're trying to say, like, we're trying to play devil's advocate here and say the Jets are gonna win some football games and be it. So it's not what we're saying. We're not really saying, like, you're right if, like, they were 1-4 and then you trade for Kirk Cousins
Right.
and you're trying and he needs to actually save the season. Then yeah, I agree.
Right.
But if you make a trade, you're 500. You give him a few weeks to get used to the offense, and then you could string together some games, maybe get a 6 or 7 seed going into the playoffs, and then who knows what happens. We see teams get hot all the time in the NFL. We know how the NFL playoffs work. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying to make it an interesting season for the Jets. I think playoff experience for the Jets and their players would be important for Aaron Rodgers going to the next season. I think just making the playoffs would be a huge win for that team. If you have Super Bowl aspirations, you get that young team into the playoffs. At least it gets them a feel for the next upcoming season. I think that's a win. I think that's a win. I think it's worth it because of how good their team actually is. Like, they really are.
I think it's worth it.
Their defense held New England to 0 points in the second half, and they couldn't win that football game. Like
if I was in the front office, New York Jets, with the uncertainty of Aaron Rodgers' career, I'm getting if I had an opportunity to seize a moment to get a guy in there, I'm going to go ahead and do that with this roster 100%. As we move on, where are we here?
The Chiefs and Bills.
We have the Chiefs and the Bills back on track. Probably won't spend too much time on this topic.
They definitely are, right? We both agree they definitely are. We were supposed to talk about this after last week, but now that another week's gone by and they both looked good again, this is an easy, like, no-brainer.
Looked great. I'm feeling real good about my AFC pick now.
They're number one on defense right now. They're the number one DVOA team on defense right now, the Bills. So, man, that's going to be a fun game this weekend.
I knew the Bills were going to have a bounce back defensive year. Like, that was obvious. They were without two of the top safeties in the National Football League for most of the year last season. They got those two dudes back fully healthy, and then the cornerback that they drafted out of Florida. This is, I want to say, his second or third year, but he's there. Elam, yep, and he's there and he's doing his thing. So, Beeman, are they are the Chiefs and the Bills back on track?
Yeah, I'm more sure with the Chiefs. I'm a little more unsure with the Bills, only because the Bills show me inconsistency. I would say yes for the Chiefs, question mark for the Bills. And
what about the Bills?
The Bills would have to kind of.
What about the Bills makes you uncertain? Like, what's the like the big thing about the Bills where you're a little shaky? Is it Josh Allen? Is it the defense? Is it the turnovers? Is it the wide receiver core? Because the wide receiver core is a little weak outside of Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I like their tight ends too, but they can do better. But
yeah,
it's honestly a collective thing. It's nothing against Josh Allen as well. I just do think his play style suits him, but I don't know if it suits the team as far as winning big games. It's just when I think about the Chiefs and the Bills back on track, it's just I don't have the Bills on the Chiefs level. I don't. I have the Chiefs on a higher level, and I feel like the Bills can make the playoffs and lose the first round. I just don't. I don't see them making the Super Bowl. I don't see them making the AFC Championship game. I don't look at the Bills as being that type of team. Josh Allen is it, but I think the piece that I'm a little more upset with that I thought was going to do more was Von Miller. Like when they got Von Miller, I thought,
Is he
Josh
back?
Allen
Is
do
Von
things
Miller
on
back?
offense.
He's not back yet,
He's
and he
not
was
back
just
yet. He's
he
still
was
hurt.
absolutely going nuts
Yeah.
when he was healthy, but he just got to come back.
He was. Yeah, that
That
him being
really did
healthy, I
hurt
think
them. That
I
really
think
did
that's
hurt
what I
them.
have to see. I think if I see like the dominance of like, I don't want to see Josh Allen being dominant. You get what I'm saying? It's like it's always when it comes to football, it's always two sides, and you need a dominant force on both sides of the football. Like with the Chiefs, it's like you got Patrick and Kelsey, but on the other side, Chris Jones is a force. And there's
No, but the
something about those
Bills
They're
teams
number
that have.
one. They're number one overall right now. Yeah.
Defensively, the
Without
Bills
Von
always
Miller.
been the Bills
Small
even
sample
before
size.
Week
Small
3.
sample
even
size.
even
Small
before
sample
Von Miller
size, but
got there. Before Von Miller got there, they were always at atop the league in defensive rankings. Always, like the Bills were always there. It was just that in the playoffs, the only reason they got Von Miller to add to that defense, and the reason why they paid so much money at that stage of his career, being so old,
they needed
was
pass rush.
because dude, all we need on this defense is for when it's time to get home in the clutch, we need somebody to get home. And that's it. Like, I mean, other than that, their defense
No,
was
King, let's really
very
say what it is. Let's really say what it is. Last year, they didn't have Tre'Davious White or Von Miller. Their two best defensive players were out.
and they didn't have one of their third best defensive player, their safety. I want to say it's Micah Hyde.
Or Poyer or Micah
It might have been
Hyde. I think it
Poyer.
was
It might have
Micah
been
Hyde.
Poyer. I don't know who. Yeah,
It
I
might
don't know
have
who
been
was out.
Poyer, and Hyde was out for some
I like
time as
Tremaine
well.
Edmonds too. He with the Bears now, but I like when Tremaine Edmonds was with the Bills.
Yeah, so I just feel as though the defense
This is
always been
King's Super Bowl pick. If you can't guess.
yeah, but I mean honestly though, but no real rap because
Okay.
the reason why it's my Super Bowl pick is because you go ahead and get your defensive players back healthy, which wasn't the case last season. And then but before last season, the 2 seasons prior to last season, they were atop the league across all defensive, stats in the league. And then now you come back fully healthy. You got Von Miller working his way back to become fully healthy. And then so you're going to get him back at some point this season, and then you top that with the best receiving tight end in all of college football, and Dalton Kincaid. You still got Dawson Knox. You still got your wide receiving core. You still got Josh Allen.
With confidence,
Cook,
getting confidence. Josh Allen
James
getting
Cook,
confidence.
James Cook in the backfield. James Cook in the backfield is starting to. That draft pick is starting to formalize itself with James Cook in the backfield.
Yeah, they finally got a running game.
You added Damian Harris to the backfield for the goal line touches, who he did punch one in already this season at the goal line.
And Latavius Murray.
So at the end of the day, it's looking like Josh Allen is fixing his turnover woes that ended the season last year and that re-emerged itself game 1 against the Jets. So it's, to me, the writing was all on the wall that this Bills team had a very, very good chance to get to the Super Bowl. And so I mean that's why it was my pick.
And they stay
I do
healthy.
like the pick, but I'm if your life
did we talk you into the
it,
Bills? No, not yet.
No, hell to the no. He ain't talking to the Bills. But he's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's just all the stuff he said is not wrong. It's just the counterparts. It's just who else are we dealing with? Who else are we talking about? And me, it's crazy because when it comes to like certain things, I think people really gotta like be real with themselves. And the Kansas City Chiefs have not showed no signs that they is going to let the Buffalo Bills take that spot from them. And if you want to get real and really talk that situation, there is nothing that the Buffalo Bills did, and there's nothing that the Chiefs has lost that can prove that the Bills will dethrone the Chiefs. Who has the better quarterback? Who has the better X factor?
I love the way the Chiefs defense is looking right now. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. They're looking really, really, really good, and the offense, of course, is looking great. I know we say this all the time. Like when they lost Tyreek, we're like, what they gonna do? When and then now they lose some other key pieces on the offensive end, like Juju. They also let a couple guys go offensively.
Kelsey is the one that he needs. Kelsey is the guy that
Kelsey changes that whole dynamic of the offense.
Their offensive line. They let a couple guys go there. Brought in some new guys there. Brought in some new receivers this year. I just feel as though offensively, to me, they're just getting a little too, just my opinion, they're just getting a little too cocky with Mahomes and his capabilities when they keep switching up his weapons the way that they are. Not
I don't think they're doing it purposely, King, though.
I don't know. I don't know if they're doing it purposely or not.
It's
money.
They restructured his contract, though.
It's the way that they have to restructure contracts, and obviously, if we want Tyreek Hill to stay, they're not gonna, Tyreek Hill. Yeah, they have to give him money. Chris Jones, they just had to pay him.
There's
nothing, and that's for 1 year. They don't have Chris Jones.
There's nothing about the Jacksonville Jaguars defense that says they should have did.
Whoa.
Let me finish.
I'm gonna let him finish because I don't know what this got to do with the topic.
Their defense is very good. Go ahead.
How did they look against CJ Stroud Company? Anyway, there is nothing about the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, especially how did they look against. First of all, you got a rookie quarterback in this dude Richardson, out of Florida, who destroys your defense. Excuse me, no, they didn't play. No. I'm thinking
they played the Ravens week 1. They played the Ravens week 1. They played the Ravens.
No. We played
the Texans.
We played the Colts.
The Jaguars. Okay, yeah.
We played the Colts.
Yeah, I did play the Colts.
And Richardson did play well. But
he did. Excuse me. So Richardson, right out the gate,
he played good.
Rushed for two touchdowns before he ultimately got dispelled for the game. Right? If that's the game that we're talking about, right? That he did play.
I don't know.
No, that was
I don't know what you're getting at.
That was against
why are we talking about?
No, Trent Richardson did play against y'all week 1.
Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson.
Not Trent Richardson. Thank you, Gator. Trent Richardson is Anthony is Gator's.
He played good against us week 1, but we picked him off. We sacked him.
So you let two rookies. That defense let two
Trent
rookies.
Richardson is not King. Trent Richardson is a running back. He is a running back. He is an old running back. That's Trent Williams. You always do this. You always do this with those three players all the time.
And I love Anthony Richardson. So I don't know why I keep messing his name up, but
you did this
I do keep getting those names. Anyway, let's stay on track. Let's stay focused. Yeah. Anthony Richardson, the way he looked week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then the way CJ Stroud, two rookies, made that defense look to me.
Yeah, it looked shaky. It looked shaky.
To me, it's nothing that defense has shown so far in the early season that makes me feel as though they should have did what they did to Mahomes' offense. So, they really gave Mahomes offense fits, and I believe that it's because Mahomes with these interchangeable wide receivers year in and year out, losing guys, gaining new guys that are just average guys. I think that's gonna. This is just me. Mahomes is Superman. We understand that he's great. This is just me though. In the playoffs, I feel as though this offense is going to struggle. I feel like that's going to be the reason why they end up losing ultimately, is because of what their offense didn't do, not what their defense didn't do. I love what their defense is looking like right now. And if
Okay,
you're
so
talking
their offense is going to struggle based upon the interchangings of weapons.
correct, yep.
Nah, the offense is going to get better. Of course,
I'm
you
saying
got
in the playoffs.
Galen and Sky
In
Moore
the playoffs.
and Rasheed in the playoffs. Of course, they're going to be better.
And
They're going to be better. Right now is
really, I'm sorry, and really I'm talking about on like crucial drive. I'm talking about like in the clutch.
they are going to be
In crunch
better.
time, I think they're not going to answer.
You know why they're going to be better?
I think we're going to be talking about, with Mahomes, like, his guys got to catch the ball. Oh, they ain't catch the ball. It wasn't Mahomes' fault. I just got a feeling, an inkling that's going to be the story in clutch
That's
time.
your
In the
issue.
playoffs.
You going off of feelings.
When you got Rasheed Rice, you got Rasheed Rice, you got Kadarius Toney, and you got another new guy. Well, not new, but Sky Moore, who's not great, and then it was another new guy in that wide receiving court that doesn't get me necessarily too excited. Look, they're not ready for the big stage. In my opinion, they're not ready for the big stage.
Kelsey,
All of those guys that I named, were not.
Kelsey is why you didn't mention Kelsey.
I'm not failing to mention. I'm not mentioning him on purpose. I'm just saying that Juju Smith-Schuster came up with, he does, but I'm just saying Juju came up with huge catches in the postseason.
Every year somebody comes up with huge catches.
No, we'll see.
They really just lost Juju, King. They only really lost Juju. Like,
every year, no matter who wins, somebody will have a huge catch.
You act like Juju Smith-Schuster.
You got to go off, and
you
going off of your feelings when you need to go off of the resume. And the Bills is not messing with the Chiefs as far as coaching, as far as resume, as far as the work they put in, as far as the best quarterback.
We comparing them to the Bills. That's a tough matchup. They beat them in the regular season last year. So
don't be surprised.
As far as the total package, as far as the football team, as far as who is better overall.
I don't know. I like the Bills roster. I like the Bills roster better. I like the Bills roster.
One more. The Chiefs have Super Bowls. Y'all don't.
All I'm saying is, look,
the Chiefs don't keep them in the playoffs.
He's delayed.
Don't.
Look, Beeman. Look, you sound the most correct out of everybody in this panel right now. Why? Because the Chiefs got 2 Super Bowls under their belt. They are the alpha dogs. Like, we get it. All I'm saying is, if the Chiefs lose in the playoffs, I guarantee you the narrative will be Mahomes' weapons. That's the only narrative. I guarantee you that would be the narrative. I guarantee. Oh, guys dropping passes, guys didn't step up in the play. I guarantee. You're breaking up. The show can't hear you. Yeah, the show can't hear you.
Oh man.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear what you're saying.
I definitely do too, because this was a fun topic.
Let's go, and I didn't know we were gonna last that long on the topic.
Yeah, me neither. So that was gonna be our quickest topic of the night. To be honest, that was fun.
Are you back with us, Beeman, to close this topic, or should we move on? All right, we'll move on. So we have.
Do you want? I'm gonna skip that one. Can we talk about the Justin Fields on Friday? Because the last 2 topics I want to make sure we have time for.
Last 2 topics being
the power rankings question with quotations and the preview of the Thursday night game.
Okay, let's touch on that, and for our old school new school take, we'll hit that next show.
Yeah. That we'll have these 2 topics we'll put on the next show.
We got old school versus new school, NBA players taking a guy from old school, taking a guy from new school, and just going out there and debating about those 2 guys. Very 2 big names. We'll leave it a secret for what's to come for next show with that. That's going to be a fun one. And then we're also going to leave the Colorado. Do you predict back-to-back?
That one too.
Yeah, but
we can talk about that Friday as well, and the Justin Fields one.
Yeah. So we have a Colorado type. Do you predict back-to-back blowouts for Colorado? We'll leave that for Friday as well. And so we'll go on to our power rankings. Top 5 NFL teams. Who wants to start?
So when we do
Top
this,
five
so I can
NFL
make
teams.
it clippable, just name your 5, and then we could talk about your list afterwards. Okay, so for a clip, so I could clip it in the amount of time. Just list your 5, and then after that's over, then we could talk about your list. So we'll let Beeman go first though. Your top 5 teams in the NFL, just list them out real quick.
Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, 49ers, whew, uh, and my last team would be. Oh, this one's tough, but I'm gonna go with. We'll go with Baltimore.
Over the Dolphins?
Oh yeah, I said the Dolphins, right?
No.
No.
Damn, so it's definitely the Dolphins then. So Chiefs. Okay,
Yeah,
I said. Hold on, I said
say it
Chiefs.
again. You say it again. Yeah, you're on the. Go ahead.
Chiefs. I said the 49ers. I said the Eagles. Chiefs, 49ers, Eagles.
No, you said Bills second.
Well, it doesn't matter.
No. I'm gonna go with Dolphins and then Ravens. So yeah, I'm gonna go.
Wait,
Chiefs,
say your top 5.
Chiefs,
Yeah.
Chiefs, Dolphins, Eagles, 49ers, Ravens.
You left the Bills out. He
I
put him
left the Bills
second.
out.
He put him second and then took him out. And then that was crazy.
I need you to go back. No, I need you to go back to because this is recorded. I don't think I said the Bills at all. But if I did, no, the Bills is not
I
in
could
there.
be hearing things. I thought you said Bills 2 at first on the first try, but
No,
I
Dolphins.
heard, but we got
Chiefs,
it. We got it.
Dolphins, 49ers, Eagles, Ravens.
Okay. King? Or you want me to go?
I would love you know me. I'm rooting for the Ravens to get to reach the Super Bowl, even though the Bills are my pick. I'm rooting for the Ravens. And I would love to put them in there. But
That loss was bad, right?
yeah, that
Yeah, it was.
Situation
It was.
really hurt
It
my
was.
nerves. Like it really got to me.
At
Like
home, too.
Bro,
really.
I'm used to the Colts. I'm trying to like.
They're tough. They're tough every
Yeah,
year. Every
we
year. They're
suck.
annoying.
We suck, but I
Yeah.
know what makes us annoying to the rest of the league.
Yeah.
Even though all of our teams ain't.
Yep.
I just know
I
what we
agree.
got, and that Coach D line. I'm trying to tell you, bro.
I
That
wish
Coach
the
D line
Niners
is
kept the
crazy.
Forrest Buckner, bro. I
Forrest Buckner.
wish they
And they
kept
got
him.
Samson Ebukwen. He used to play for the 49ers too.
Yeah,
They
They
basically got the 49ers
I don't know what the
D-line.
Niners were smoking. I swear, they still got a good offensive line. I mean, defensive line.
Defensive line is still good. Like
It's
Eric
crazy.
Armstead is there. They got the dude from the Commanders. But yeah,
They
the
got
Colts.
They just got Javon Hargrave too for the Eagles.
Yeah, but that's why I always be like, man, I can't pit too much on these people, man. They going against some tough challenges. Like they going against some tough challenges. But at the end of the day, King is right. Lamar got to win that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, King.
Yeah. No, and Gator, look, I don't necessarily like doing this, but I mean, y'all just looking too stout, man, top to bottom. You like I said, Brock Purdy is starting.
Say it.
Like I still want to see more.
Wait, can we list the top 5 and then you could talk about my Niners? List the top 5 for the clip, please.
just for cutting me off, I'm not putting the Niners number 1 no more.
Okay, that's fine, but just name the clip.
We got the Niners at 1, the Kansas City Chiefs at 2, Buffalo Bills at 3, Philadelphia Eagles at 4, Cleveland Browns at 5.
Wow, over the Dolphins? Okay, now we can talk about your list. So why the Niners won? Go ahead, tell the people.
No, I mean, let's. Okay. So Niners won. Well, because Brock Purdy is starting to like really like get to my heart. Like he's starting to actually make me feel like the last pick of the draft. He's boy wonder, Tom Brady all over again. Not Tom Brady.
No, definitely not. Yeah, definitely not.
You know what I mean. Just in terms of catapulting himself to eventually to being one of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League. But we'll see. We'll see. I still need to see more with Brock Purdy to come to that determination. Absolutely. But just everything else about that roster, though. I always say, like, when you're you're a good football team when you come into a matchup as the aggressor. They come into every matchup as the aggressor, playing their game. They don't. You can tell that. I don't want to say they don't respect their opponents, but just in terms of their actions, they don't respect their opponent. They come into every game doing what they want to do. Like, all right, we want to run. We want to use the run to open up the pass. Defensively, we want to get to the quarterback. We want to be physical in the run game. Like, they are who they are, and they don't sort of they're not really an adjustment type football team. To me, that's what could ultimately dispel them, especially in the playoffs, where they rely so much on what they do well that I don't necessarily see if they come across a formidable
You
team.
talk about offensively or defensively or as a whole?
Both sides.
I disagree with you on the defensive side, but okay. But go ahead.
Both sides. I feel as though they do what they do well, especially on defense. We want to get to the quarterback. We want to stop the run. We want to be physical at the point of attack. Wherever the football is, everybody rally to the football. Gang tackle, be physical. Get to the quarterback. Stop the run. I don't see that. I don't see them if they actually go up against a formidable offense, albeit I don't know how many formidable offenses there are in the NFC. But if they actually went up against a formidable offense who can present some problems to the weaknesses of that defense, I don't see them being able to make the adjustments to be able to stop that opposing offense. And again, the Eagles might be the only example of that, of what I'm saying in the NFC. Yeah. So that's who it would have to probably be. But and offensively, they do what they do. I don't see them if a team, just says, you know what, like we're putting the muzzle on Christian McCaffrey. I don't see them being able to make the necessary adjustments to offensively to be able to still look like how they've been looking. So, but they haven't had to. Like, they've been able to go into each game and do what they want to do. So I put them at 1 because they just look like they strong arm in the entire league. And then the Chiefs is self-explanatory. They have Patrick Mahomes. They bounce back. They look really good. And then you got 3. You have I put the Bills there. Bills Mafia. The
rest of your list was okay. What about Cleveland? What about Cleveland?
And then I got Cleveland.
Yeah.
I got Cleveland.
Cleveland over Miami. Talk about that.
Their defense is looking formidable. I don't think Tua and company would be able to do that against this Cleveland Browns. They will be able to be like, you got to remember last week. I want to say the Patriots did a really good job on Tua last week, and like a phenomenal job.
Did they?
I mean, I believe
they scored 20 points in the first half. I don't know. I don't know. He had a field day.
Yeah, but you got to realize it's a tale of 2 halves. That's what football is. And we know Bill Belichick is king. Like, the best adjuster, in my opinion, in NFL history. He's king of adjustments. And
second half, they shut him down. Second half, they did shut him down. I'll give you that.
To have that type of first half, the game wasn't won. Like, the game wasn't over.
Yeah.
So to have that type of first half and not be able to do anything as far as putting points on the board in the second half, that said a lot. Like, that, I mean, like Bill, and I think the Cleveland Browns defense is right there. It's right there with being able to get to the quarterback, especially being able to cover. And then you have on the offensive end, you have Deshaun Watson and the crew. So I just think right now, to me, Cleveland looks like the better team. Just to me, right now, with the little sample size that we have, to me, Cleveland look like the best team. I just think Denver Broncos are really, truly that bad. Really do.
I agree. That's why we both agreed not to put them in best in the NFL yet. But the only thing that I'll say about the Browns on that list is they're a fumble away from they're a Deshaun Watson fumble away from being 3-0. So like, I can see it. They probably they were the better team in that Pittsburgh game, but they found a way to lose it. So I'll give you that. They should be 3-0, but they're showing 2-1, and
They look really good. I gotta
they
put
look
them in my
good.
top.
They look
They
good,
look
but
really
Deshaun Watson doesn't. He needs to play better. If he starts,
No. I love how Deshaun Watson is playing.
he's
He's
been a
playing
turnover
complimentary.
machine. He's been a turnover
He's playing.
machine, though.
Has he?
Yeah,
Has he?
yeah.
Has he?
He's been a
Let's check it
turnover
out.
machine.
Let's see how many turnovers did he have last game?
None. I don't think he had none last game. That was his best game of the season. No.
I was about to say because last game he played phenomenally. I thought 289, two
No,
touchdowns.
he had 4 turnovers. He had 4 turnovers in the first 2 games. So,
Okay.
So
Okay.
two
he?
fumbles, 2 interceptions. So
Okay.
the game
4
and the
turnovers total.
total. Yeah, in the first 2 games.
Okay.
So that's 2 turnovers a game. That's not.
That's not good. That's not good.
That's not it, because if you really thinking about it too, like if we're comparing him to just like Brock Purdy has not turned the ball over this season at all yet. So it's just like that's just one quarterback who's not even close to that level as Deshaun Watson. So.
But he got it under wraps. He fixed it in against a Tennessee team who is respectable.
He had the best. That was the first time he looked like Deshaun. If he can continue that trend, I agree with you. Then I'm just saying. Let's see. 2 bad games, 1 really good game. So let's hopefully that carries.
Go ahead, give your top 5.
This is actually easy. I don't know this is the list. This is the list. If this is not your list, you're doing it wrong. Like, you're just overthinking it. Niners, Chiefs, Dolphins, Bills, Eagles. Like, that is the list. If you have any other, you could maybe switch Bills and Eagles because of that week 1 loss to the Jets that they should have won. It's very clear. I don't know how we're throwing the Browns and the Ravens in there yet. I think that's crazy. I need to see more from those teams.
Ravens would have deserved to be in there if they won. They would have been in mine if they won.
I think they could start 5-0, and I really would not believe in them still. But
but Cowboys digs. But no, I mean that's.
I think whoever wins this Bills Dolphins game propels to number 2, possibly 1, depending on how good the Niners look against the Cardinals. If the Niners run through the Cardinals again, they will be my number 1 next week. But whoever wins this Bills Dolphins matchup automatically goes to number 2 next week. I don't care what the Chiefs do.
That's a straightforward, simple top 5, and that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
And the Niners number 1 only because I think they're the most balanced team in the NFL. I think they're the most formidable. They offensively and defensively, they are the best overall team in the NFL, and it's not even a question. Roster wise, coaching wise, it's not even close, to be honest. They have the best roster, I think, in the NFL. And it's the most all around football team. Like, you could talk about the Chiefs. You could talk about the Chiefs, how they're weak in some areas. You could talk about the Bills, how they're weak in some areas. The Dolphins, you could go forever. The Eagles, you can't really find a weakness except for the corners other than the corners on the San Francisco 49ers, who have been playing very good football. That is not the reason why they've been getting beat sometimes offensively. It's actually been the weak off. The defensive line hasn't been performing as good as people hoped for in the beginning of the season. But aside from that, they are the best all-around football team in the NFL, and it's to me, it's not even close right now as of week 3.
All right. Yeah. As we move on along,
last topic.
We have our last topic of the evening is just a preview of week 3. Of week 4
of Thursday Night Football.
Is just a preview of week 4. Thursday night's football game, Lions versus Packers. And Jordan Love is starting to rub off on me. Jordan Love is starting to get to me. He's starting to make me feel as though he is formidable.
Oh, rub off. I thought you said rub off. Doesn't rub off mean the opposite?
I don't know what am I trying to say when I say
You
a
like
guy
him.
is
You
starting.
like him. You like him.
Yeah, I'm starting to like what I'm seeing
Believe in
from
him.
Jordan Love.
Yeah, I am
I'm
too.
starting to
And I
believe in
was hard
him.
on him.
Um, the way he performed in the fourth quarter
That
last
comeback
week
was crazy against a really good
showed
defense.
showed me that he is here to stay for the Packers. Now, I don't think he'll ever be atop the league with certain guys like Mahomes, Josh Allen, the list goes on and on. I don't think he'll ever be like at the top Jalen Hurts. I don't think he'll ever be there, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he'll
Maybe.
ever be. I don't think so. I think he's going to be exactly what the Packers need from their quarterback position. The Packers invested a lot into their defense, and I really believe that they're going to continue to um, um, lean on just their defense being their 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 uh their best part of their all three phases. That I think that'll be the best part of their team is their defense. And then I think offensively, Jordan Love is not going to ever be the reason why they lose. It's going to be games where he was the reason why they won, and then there's going to be games where you know where he wasn't the reason why they won neither. Like where it's just like, okay, he just had a steady ship kind of game. So it's just like I'm interested to see how Jordan Love, when he starts to get this team consistently into the playoffs, if it starts this year or next year. Like I want to see if he can, one, be a guy who can consistently get this team into the playoffs, and then two, see what he do, how he's able to perform in the playoffs. But what I am seeing, it does look like, from what I am seeing, it does look like the Packers have a really good quarterback to love moving forward. So I mean, I like the Lions in this matchup
Where's the
because
game? Do you know?
it's in Green Bay, but the Lions are still favored in Green Bay. And the reason why I like the Lions, man, the Lions are just, to me, defensively, I keep harping on it. The Lions are underestimated defensively, and then when you
You're right.
combine that with their offensive prowess, when you combine that with what they can do offensively as far as production goes, putting up big numbers, um, I and just the overall camaraderie that exists amongst this organization right now, from the players to the coaching staff. Like, dare I say, all of these historically horrible teams in the NFL are finally starting to rise. When you talk about Houston, when you
Except for
talk
Chicago.
about, well, Chicago is a historically great franchise, so they wouldn't even
That's
be in
true.
this
Well,
in this
not in the
conversation.
last 20 years, but yeah, you're
No,
right.
I'm just saying historically.
Yeah, you're right.
Historically,
You're right.
like the Detroit Lions are historically
Yeah, yeah.
bad. The Houston Texans are historically bad. The Jacksonville Jaguars are historically bad. So it's just like, dare I say, these historically bad franchises are starting to be formidable. Like it's a new day, and I'm going to go out there on a limb and say that the Detroit Lions are here. I'm going with the Detroit Lions in this matchup.
Okay, so that I man, it's in Green Bay. Thursday night football. Okay. This might be like a boring take, but the Lions went into Green Bay week 18 last year and ended the Packers season that was with Aaron Rodgers. Both teams are very much the same. The only main difference on Green Bay's side of things, I feel like Green Bay got a little worse because they lost Aaron Rodgers, while Detroit, with their draft picks and stuff, actually got a little bit better. So I really don't see why Detroit can't go into Green Bay and win again. I think they have the better team. Defensive, what they did to the Falcons this weekend was embarrassing. They couldn't. The Falcons couldn't even do what they do best, and run the football. Like that defense, you're right, is like really really good. Like what they did to Patrick Mahomes. They can be beat over the top sometimes. Seattle kind of abused that with their wide receiver core. That when they place a team with a good wide receiving core, it can get a little funky. Their defense can get a little funky. But because Tyler Lockett torched them that day. But I'm not so like scared of this Green Bay Packer receiving core. I'm really not. I think it will be slim pickings for the. I don't even know if they'll have Aaron Jones yet. Is any news on Aaron Jones yet? Is he coming back yet, or he's still not healthy? So like, that's their best offensive player in my eyes outside of Jordan Love. So if missing him is going to be a problem, I think the emergence, well, not even the emergence, he's been this good. Amon-Ra St. Brown, but the coverage he's finally getting this year, like people really starting to respect Amon-Ra St. Brown now. I think that matchup is gonna be fun to watch. Jair Alexander versus Amon-Ra St. Brown on Thursday night. That might be the key to the game. If they can keep the ball out of Amon-Ra St. Brown's hands, I think Green Bay has a shot. But if Amon-Ra St. Brown goes for 75, 80 receiving yards, it might be quiet for Green Bay. I do expect a close game, though. Green Bay's defense is good as well. I expect a low-scoring game. I would say 20-17 type game. But I'll give the slight edge to the Lions as well on the road. I want to say Green Bay.
So we both
I
got.
want to say Green Bay, but I don't have the. What Detroit did to that fan base last year? Detroit literally ended the Aaron Rodgers like dynasty in Green Bay. Like that, this team is really their rivals now. Like this, that's the only thing that I'll give Green Bay. Like Green Bay wants to win this game. This is a heated rivalry. Like Detroit really knocked them out of the playoffs last year. Like that was a Green Bay playoff game, and they went in there and beat Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I don't see why they can't do it again. It should be an easier matchup, right? It should be an easier matchup for Detroit, but that's what we love about football, right, King? It's 1 + 1 never equals 2.
Of course. Absolutely. I mean, I got Detroit. I got Detroit in this matchup. I mean, Green Bay seems like they had more
close or like, you think the game is close or not? Low scoring, high scoring, offensive explosion. I got 2017. Give us a score. I got 2017 Lions. And Jahmyr Gibbs gets his first touchdown of the season. I hope.
You win. Let's let the people understand that you got Jahmyr Gibbs on your fantasy football team.
The worst draft. I think that might be the worst draft pick I ever made in my entire life, and I'll take the L on that.
Excuse me. Hold on. No, excuse me. Thank you. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be just fine. I think he actually does have a really good game this game, to be honest with you. When you got a short week to prepare for a guy,
David Montgomery doesn't come back. If David Montgomery doesn't come back, hopefully he does not.
When you got a short week to prepare for a guy that explosive, I think he's the most explosive guy on the football field this Thursday. And so you're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jair Alexander. I'm more so looking at, dare I say, the rookies, like for Detroit. I'm looking at Sam Laporta, and I'm looking at their running back Jahmyr Gibbs as the two guys who break out in this football game. And so I think, yeah, I think when you have a short week, especially coming off a win, like the Green Bay Packers just had.
You love momentum, though. You love momentum. That could be a momentum
I mean,
shifting
but
quarter for that football
I'm,
team.
I'm, I more so look at that as an exhausted, like as an exhaustful win,
I
because I
guess.
watched that. I literally watched that game. Head coach was peed off
Yeah, they
all
looked
game.
bad for 3 quarters. They looked hard. Like people were saying,
Yeah,
Jordan Love bust. Like it was that bad for three
they
quarters.
they looked absolutely
Poocher.
horrible in the
Yeah.
first three quarters, and to see them rally the way that they did, it took a lot out of them. Just for that coaching staff in general, like they had to. Now you got a quick turnaround against a really, really good, formidable team who I think personally is better than the New Orleans Saints. You gotta understand, Saints didn't have Derek Carr. If Saints had Derek Carr, they win that game. I don't think anybody disagrees
Yeah.
with that. And
Yeah.
so when you talk about that, and you talk about the Detroit Lions definitely being a better football team than the Saints, in my opinion, I think that to have to prepare for a team like this, a team that is coached very, very well, in a short week, I think it's going to be a little too tough for the Green Bay Packers, and so I'm gonna go with the Detroit Lions, and I'm gonna go with Jahmyr Gibbs having an explosive day, to sort of introduce himself to the NFL world, that he is going to be a fine player in this league, and so yeah, I'm going with Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I'll take
And
Detroit
with
too.
that said, and
And
with
yeah,
that
we can
said,
close it out.
Mars Dogs, thank you for tuning in today. Everybody else who was tuning in, thank you for tuning in today. We are live every Tuesdays and Fridays at 7:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Mountain West Times. And we thank everybody. And that again, that might be adjusted again. That might be adjusted again. So
Yeah,
we just
me and the
we thank
CEO will
everybody.
talk.
We thank everybody for tuning in and continuing to support. And look, at the end of the day, all I'm gonna say is that we're on the up and up, and the production is going to get better. We got a website coming up. We got more fan engagement ideas that are going to be broached, and so we got big things happening. And so thank you for everybody that's tuning in. We're going to go ahead and get on up out of here. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening, and God bless.